When we looked at Azami's visual identity, we actually looked towards the Japanese security police. So these are bodyguards that protect VIPs that are both domestic and international. But Azami is actually in the private sector. So we wanted to take a bit of liberty with her outfit, make sure that she can express that kind of duality of her nature. And that's how we ended up with this striking suit that Azami's wearing. When we wanted to talk about Azami's visuals, specifically her face mask, we wanted a bit of mystery there for her. This is a piece of fashion in Japanese culture that's existed forever, and we wanted to make use of it. So it was an ideal way of showcasing her kind of more hidden side. It's the first time in a while that we've actually hidden the face of a female operator, and this was kind of a unique opportunity for us to do that. We worked with our Japanese colleagues and poured through a bunch of kimono patterns and traditional patterns from the Japanese culture, and we actually settled on cranes because it was a nice kind of analogy for her gadget. The cranes are very powerful, and we kind of see that in her operator icon as well, where the crane kind of transforms into her gadget, which are the kunai. A big thing we're really happy to announce starting in Season 1 is a huge tech upgrade that we're bringing to the faces of our operators in the future. So this starts with Azami, where we've redone a whole bunch of things such as skin shaders, hair shaders, eye shaders. We've also upped the amount of poly count for the headgear and the face itself. And so you'll see a lot more life and a lot more detail in future operators. And because Azami's wearing a mask, we wanted to make sure that you could see the full kind of upgrade, and we're including this with our benchmark character, which was Thunderbird. So in Season 1, you're going to see Thunderbird and Azami both using this kind of new tech we've developed, and the team's worked incredibly hard to make sure we'll bring new life to our characters. So the main goal with this improvement of technology is not only to connect better with the characters, but also to make sure that we have all the tools necessary to have a diverse cast, that we're not held back by what kind of character designs we want. And so you're going to see this in our customization and our new operators that are coming in Year 7.
I think the first part when we try to design a gadget is to really understand what is the gameplay mechanics behind it. What we were looking for was something super sharp, something that can stick into the wall, like pierce the wall and stay in place into it. The kunai came pretty naturally. That's a very, very iconic shape. And when we saw it, we knew that that was the thing we were looking for. The second part is the patch. For the patch, we were looking for something that can adapt to a lot of different situations, like collisions and props and so on. And so we went to internet and we were looking for chemical reactions that we can find, and we found one that transformed the gas into something solid, and we decided to take that road. And that's why on the kunai we added these two canisters. So one is for the gas and the other is for the compound that solidifies the gas. And finally the last part is the arm mechanism. Azami is a bodyguard, he's a very high-fashion operator. So we thought that it was cool to hide something on her arm to add this mechanic to our person.
For the very first time in Season 3, we're going to have an operator that can patch up holes. Azami brings the Kiba barriers, which are a kunai-shaped device that you can throw, and when it sticks, it will release a gas that will quickly solidify into a bulletproof surface. So the idea of having an operator that can patch up holes is something that comes up pretty much every time you ask someone to come up with an idea for an operator. We've had many operators that can destroy the map in many different ways. When you think about siege, you think about destruction, you think about how the map can really change all the way throughout the round. There weren't any ways to rebuild the map, and we come up with this idea of having something that you can throw and really be free in the way you want to deploy your patch. The role of Azami is really an anchor. You know, she's an architect, so you want her close to the objective. You want her close to your anchor players so she can provide the necessary cover for them. You want her close to the walls that you're going to expect some form of breach. So you want her on site. That's where she's the strongest. So Azami is a total game changer. literally. For the first time and ever, the defenders can actually protect themselves from vertical play, which is something that was never possible before. If you had a buck or a sledge right above you, making holes on the floor, you were kind of, in panic, and you had to run away. You had to get out of there. There wasn't anything you could do, but now you can. Now you can throw it back. You can throw a Cuba barrier there and actually provide you with some real cover vertically, which is something that it's completely new for Siege. You can patch a ace hole, Vanna hole, anything you can think of. You can also even patch up a hatch that's been open. The possibilities are really endless, and it's really something that would completely change the game. We're sure of that. So the loadout for Azami, in terms of primary, she's equipped with the 9x19 SVN, which is the SMG that most people would know as Kapkan's SMG. On other option, you can also bring the ACS-12, which is the sort of like auto shotgun that you can see on Maestro and Alibi. And secondary weapon, she brings the D50. In terms of generic gadget, she brings the impact grenades and barbed wires. So the reason why we went for the 9x19 SVN and the ACS-12 is if you want to play Azami as more of a frag-centered operator, you want to make sure that you can, get your frags. You're going to go probably with the 9x19 SVN because it's a very good SMG, good rate of fire, low recoil, good mag capacity. So it's a very good gun to frag out. But you can also go with the option of the ACS-12, which still provides you with quite a lot of damage, but it's also going to bring a good amount of destruction. So for an architect, it's a very useful tool. The D50, it also brings a decent amount of destruction. So again, for an architect, it's a good thing to bring. And the impact grenades, well, for someone that reshapes the map, it's kind of like a must-have. And we also gave her the barbed wires because the barbed wires are a very useful tool to reshape the flow of the attack. She works really, really well with operators like bandits because she can provide covers that weren't existing before. She can create bulletproof surfaces that can really protect a bandit that's actively trying to ban trick. Considering that you can use the gadget on pretty much any surfaces, you can also use it to block drone holes. You have a few areas on different maps like Consulate where a garage door, it's a big door that's usually a bandit trying to bandit trick, and it's a very vulnerable place, and there's a drone hole right next to you that's begging to have a Twitch drone go through, a grenade go through, and really deal damage to your bandit. But with this gadget, you can actually block that hole. You can block the yellow stairs and provide your bandit with plenty of cover to actively bandit trick and be relatively safe, actually. In addition, she can also work really well with Mira. With her gadget, she can actually create half reinforced wall. It's not the same as like an actual reinforced wall, but you can place it on the soft wall, so you can really create some really, really exciting new ways of setting your defense. Since the gadget is bulletproof, it's going to be a very good, useful tool to protect you, but you can't really rely too much on it because it's also very easy to deal with. Any explosive will destroy the gadget. It also can be destroyed by 3 melee hits if you don't have any explosives at your disposal. Your best bet to really deal with this gadget is to bring operators like Zofia, Ash. These are very useful operators that can destroy the gadget from afar with their gadget. You can also bring Flores. Flores is also a very, very, very good operator for this gadget because with one RC drone, you can destroy a whole cluster of them. And otherwise, your classic, your grenade, and again, pretty much any form of explosives will destroy them really easily. So you can rely on the gadget to protect you from bullets, but you have to be careful that it's not going to be permanently on the map. Attackers will have a relatively easy way to deal with them. So it's a temporary fixture. So many players will tell you that Velvet Shell is probably one of their favorite seasons. One of the reasons for this is because we introduced Mira, which was a huge change for the meta, and a huge change for the way people actually played the game. And we're kind of hoping for the same thing with Azami. She brings such a exciting and such a creative gadget that we're really hoping to see the game kind of like switch into completely different ways of defending and completely different ways of setting your different sites and different defense. And it's very exciting operators to introduce into the game.